Hello, Darby Wrestling fans, family, followers, everybody. Welcome to this little broadcast that me and Coach Burgei are putting together. This is our 2019-2020 Darby Wrestling Banquet. Unconventional, but we're kind of in unconventional times right now. And we think it's important to get the info out, recognize our wrestlers, our stats, all the people behind the scenes that help get this thing together to make it a successful season. So we wanted to get this information out as soon as possible and kind of go from here. Obviously, we're on a split screen here. I'm Brendan Moody. I'm with Matt Burgei. He's our head assistant, so he'll be working this banquet out with me today. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Not too bad. Tell me a little bit about the backdrop here. Where are you at?
I'm currently in my basement. I've been in the same spot for about 2 weeks now, it seems like. I don't know. How long has it been? I don't even know what's going on anymore. But I'm in my basement. I have a little sports room, so I've got all my autographs behind me. You can see, like, Steber and a couple other wrestlers over here, some Buckeyes, some Browns players. So got all my guys behind me.
Nice. But I'm in my basement as well. Set up shop here, working from home the last 2 days, so not as long as you. Threw some Darby stuff up here, so we got the last couple team posters, last couple plaques from OCC championships, regional runner-up, and district runner-up trophy. So bringing out all the bells and whistles for the banquet tonight. So, I think one of the things it's going to be important to kind of get us started here is before we even start talking about anything, just a reminder of why we're doing this and how, important it is that we're in a tough time right now and that everybody does their part.
Yeah. With the coronavirus going on, everybody's got to do their part, keep your distance away from people, stay in your house, stay away from everybody. As terrible as that is, I love being out. I love going all these different places, but we just need, during this pandemic, we just need to be patient, disciplined, and do what we got to do. And when this is over, everything can be back to normal.
Yep, I agree. Got to be patient here. Start the broadcast off, and we have to do it every single year. We got a ton of people to thank for this season. First and foremost, the Morris family, the Kendall family, organized, the food tables and organized booster rep stuff. And most, the hospitality room for the district tournament, they take a leadership role in that. So thank you guys very much. And also, I want to thank the Lee family. They organized that trip for our whole team to go to the Ohio State and Maryland duel, which was, that was a great experience. So thank you, families, for that.
Yeah, I would also like to thank everybody that helped out at the district hospitality room. And, it's great to see all of the old parents come back every year. It is a Hilliard Darby wrestling reunion year in, year out at the district tournament, which is awesome. Thanks to the administrators, teachers, custodians, everybody that has interest in our team. Again, the Darby district is awesome because it's a reunion. I get to see all my old buddies. I get to see all the old parents, old wrestlers, administrators. Everybody's coming out, checking up on us, and it's great every year in, year out.
I'd like to thank all the coaches and the coaches' families. Winter sports, such a long sport, wrestling, such a grueling sport. And, Saturdays, having to leave the house at 5 in the morning and get home at, 11, 12 at night. So those are sacrifices that the coaches are making and that their wives and kids are making. So I want to put special thanks, Matt Burgei, obviously, Brandon Clark, Brad Jones, Nate Garrison, Jared Ball, Adam Elkins. You guys are phenomenal this year. Thank you to all their families as well, including my wife. So thank you all very, very much.
We have a lot of other helpers too, besides just coaches. Our director of wrestling operations, Chris Payne, he does so much for us. We gave him a cool little title. But, dual meet days, tournament days, we can just be coaches, help us set up a little bit, but he does the rest. So it is great to have that with you. Todd Ciardelli, runs the district tournament, is the floor manager for it. Bruce Stephanic is the voice of the Wrestling Panthers, loves helping out. Coach Riggs helps out as our youth wrestling coach. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people to thank. So, yeah.
All right. I'd also like to thank, our head youth coach, Ross Thatcher's running all the practices. He's running our Hilliard Youth Wrestling League, club, as well as the Krazy Goats. And I want to thank all the club members and parents and the Krazy Goats and their parents. One thing that was different this year is about middle of the season, me and my wife had a baby about, 20 days later, you and your wife had a baby right in the middle of the season. And Coach Thatcher and the Krazy Goats and the youth club, donated a whole bunch of diapers and stuff like that. And that was too much. That was awesome. And there was also parents within the Darby program, some of our high school kids' parents that donated us some diapers and some cards and stuff like that. That's above and beyond. Thank you guys very, very much. I'm sure Burgei's crazy thankful for that as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
We had the Taphorn family have 2 wrestlers on our team, the Taphorns, and their house caught fire this year, right in the middle of the season. It was definitely, everybody was devastated, but what came out of that was unbelievable as far as what the wrestling family did for them. And when I mean the wrestling family, I'm not talking just Darby, I'm talking everybody. People came out of the woodworks to help the Taphorns. I'm sure Mason and Matthew are very, very thankful. I mean, they said it a million times to us. I'm sure they could get out to every single person that helped out, they would. But it was really awesome to see that, how immediately everybody came together. Special thanks to Thomas Orlington. When we dueled them, they had all this stuff for us. Hilliard Bradley, same thing. When we went over there for a JV thing, we came back with a whole bunch of stuff for the Taphorn. So it was just unbelievable to see, and I'm still pretty shocked about how much support they've got. And, I'm sure they're very thankful. I was thankful to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. That was unbelievable. All right, we're going to get moving on to starting to recognize some people here. Some young people within our team, within our program. And we need to start straight from square one. Probably the most important part of our most important award that we have is Scholar Athlete Award. What a Scholar Athlete is a holding a 3.5 GPA or better during the course of the season. And we have a plethora of people that did this. These people, 3.5 or better: Beau Bridges, Lauren Butters, Eric Cathala, Casey Garrett, Landry Lee, Grace Marshall, Bella Molinaro, Nathan Morris, Woody Sadeh, Brandon Savinsky, and Bradley Weaver. In fact, did you know Bradley Weaver, academic Ohio?
Awesome. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Here is 4.0 or better. Beau Bridges, Casey Garrett, Landry Lee. Okay. What we got? Grace Marshall, Bella Molinaro, Nate Morris, and Bradley Weaver. 4.0 or better.
That's unbelievable. I think there were I went through the list. There was another 11 individuals who didn't quite hit 3.5, but had a 3.0 or better, throughout the course of the season. So that says a lot about the kids that we got and how they're not just performing on the mat, they're performing in the classroom. And thank you guys very much for that. Our next group of people we want to recognize is our statisticians. We ended up with 5 statisticians at the end of the day. And, the job of a stat is a lot like a wrestler. They got long hours too. They're doing grunt work just like a wrestler. They're coming in super early in the morning, staying late. And something different this year is we started the mat boss, which I love, but the first year you're going to start anything, it's going to take some time to get used to it. But they took a leadership role into working the mat boss app. And, they're kind of pioneers for that within our program. But they do all this stuff for very little thanks, very little, publicity or anything like that. So girls, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for everything that you do for us. We finished out freshman stat, Alyssa Ryder, sophomore Bella Molinaro, and then 3 seniors, Abby Ellie, Grace Marshall, Lauren Butters. Girls, thank you very much.
I would just go off that. I spent a lot of time with the stats as far as with that Matt boss, and I just wanted to personally say thank you too for everything you do. You know, a lot of the times I would come right away and you know, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me do this? And they were there for me. So thank you, girls, for that.
Talk a little bit about the JV team and some of the JV stuff that they went in through this year. Dual meets, 9-4. Took second at the Darby JV Invitational, third at St. Charles JV Invitational, second at the Bradley JV Invitational, and finished up with a 4th place finish at the Marysville JV Invitational. A lot of guys doing some good stuff, kind of some top performers. Landry Lee had an amazing year. Beau Bridges had a really solid year. Carter Slubowski and Chance Wade, they kind of bumped from JV team, varsity team, kind of went back and forth, but they performed very well. And some of my takeaways, so, you know, some solid results in there, but from my recollection, there is just so many freshmen that were on that team. I mean, I am absolutely in love with this freshman class. They're a large class, they're a talented class, but at the end of the day, it's still their first year on a high school mat. So, you know, I only see that this experience for a lot of these freshmen as just that experience where next year, I mean, I think their wins are going to grow exponentially. You know, kind of what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, this freshman class was, you know, how many of them stayed after practice? How many of them were so coachable, just hard workers? The grades, I mean, a lot of those 4.0s were freshmen and 3.5s were freshmen. And, you know, just the sky's the limit on the future. I was very, very excited about this freshman year. I mean, there was times this year where I said, hey, Coach Moody, right now the freshmen are leading us. You know, the freshman line on the left was going way faster than everybody else, and I would make point of it, you know, which one part makes you upset. The other part really makes you excited for the future because they're a bunch of hard workers.
Yeah, I agree. I really hope this group sticks together, which I think they can. I think there's leaders within that group. Super excited about them. We got the people who are going to be receiving their JV certificates once you know, school's back in order, whenever we can get this, you know, some of this hardware out. Abdul Abulkar, Azam Alamari, Adam Barlow, Beau Bridges, Cole Carter, William Conley, Dom DeJoya, Mo Feda, Casey Garrett, Gabe Green, Henry Lee, Landry Lee, Carter Rodriguez, Brandon Sabinski, and John Mason Taphorn. Awesome job this year, guys. You know, I can't wait to get back to it and keep climbing the ladder.
All right, the varsity team. So the varsity team went 17-7 in dual meets this season. Took third at the Big Walnut Classic, second in the All North Invitational, and second in the OCC behind Delaware. Yeah,
let's talk a little bit about some of the highlights you thought. You know, I listed a couple. You know, one crazy exciting duel, 35-33 against Dublin Scioto. Always a spirited one with Scioto. Huddle is so much fun to coach against. And they bring it. You know, they don't want to lose to us. We don't want to lose to them, that type of thing. In our home gym, coming away with a victory there, I thought that was really exciting. And then obviously the cherry on top at the end of the year, 36-29, victory over Hilliard Bradley, big time rival there. That one was, I mean, that's what high school sports is all about. I mean, that was amazing. You know, the ups and downs of a dual meet. We got, you know, heroes within matches, you know. Dual meet so much you don't even have to win your match sometimes to be the hero, and we had some of those guys in the middle of the lineup there. So those were definitely some key victories there that I saw. Any other highlights you want to kind of discuss?
Hilliard Bradley match. That was by far the highlight of the year. I mean, like you said, there was some ups and downs. There were some times we were wrestling really, really good. Sometimes literally the same day or the next day in a 2-day tournament, we were wondering what was going on. But that Hilliard Bradley match was by far the best part of the year as a team. That was the icing on the cake right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and to follow that up with a good showing at All North too. I mean, coming out on top and wrestling really tough there. My big takeaway coming into the season, we knew we had some pieces. We had some kids that were juniors, had a couple seniors, but kids that were juniors that had been around a while were looking to take the next step. But the fact of the matter is we lost 8 seniors out of the lineup from last year's team. So especially when it's dual meets, we're going to have so many first-year guys in the lineup, you don't know what exactly we're going to get. So to come out with 17 dual meet victories, a couple of big ones within the OCC, I was kind of impressed with our kids for being able to do that. I mean, again, 8 seniors out of the lineup a year ago to having kids step in and do that. There was definitely some strong impressions there.
All right, within those first-year varsity wrestlers, we had 4 freshmen earn varsity letters. These include Carter Slubowski, Ahmad Dafala, Matthew Taphorn, and Colt Ryan. First one, Carter Slubowski. Okay, he went back and forth from JV and varsity, ended up with a 14-5 record. First team All-OCC at 106, and recorded 72 team points. Carter is a very fun one to watch wrestle. He's definitely, if you're not in the chair coaching him, you're on the side watching him because he doesn't stop. Fortunately, but unfortunately, we have 2 great 106s. Fortunately, because that's great, but unfortunately because, he had to split some time with Colt Ryan. But, next year, getting those guys away from each other a little bit, I mean, he's going to jump right into our varsity lineup and be a hammer. I mean, we're not talking – he's going to be a hammer next year. So it's all ready for him. He was a small 106. I mean, what do you weigh, Coach? 100 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, it was probably just below 100. He got
a full-size 106 next year. That's going to be fun to watch. Next, Ahmad Dafala. He was our starter at 113. He's 21-18 varsity record, 61 near falls, 118 points. Again, I've been around Ahmad a lot all through the summer. Ahmad's got one thing. It's just all out. It's just he puts that headgear on, he's ready to wrestle. This could be hours before wrestling. He will have that headgear on and he is ready to wrestle. But with that, just he's just in or out and he's just going hard. So this is a kid stayed after practice every single day. He wants to be great. I can't wait to watch this kid in the future.
Yeah, I think he's got huge future. I mean, I'm excited about him for sure.
He's one of those kids. You're like, is Ahmad shooting too much? Is he? I mean, he just is a goer. But with that in the future, it's just going to be it's going to be unbelievable to watch when all that comes together. I mean, it already is. 21-18 as a freshman's pretty good. Next up, Matthew Taphorn. He was our 182 this year. Was 24-20, 14 falls, 118 team points. Took 5th at the Big Walnut, 5th at the Porter, 6th at Sectionals. Tappy was one of my main guys. Spent a lot of time with him. Football, spent a lot of time with him. Every single day in wrestling. Again, I cannot wait for the future with this kid. Even with the stuff that happened with his family this year with the fire, he still kept bringing it and kept bringing it. We would be
didn't even.
Yeah, I mean, I would be like, is this the day or two after? I'm like, are you good? Are we all right? Or yeah, coach, I'm ready to practice. So, he's a fighter. I think he weighed 205 or 210 during football. And it's like, coach, I'm going 182. I'm like, you sure? Oh yeah, I'm ready. And I mean, he did make me work out with him during football to get down to 182, but I can't wait to watch him in the future. Probably a 95 next year. That's going to be fun to watch. And last is Colt Ryan. He was our main starter at 106. He was 36-11. He was first team All-OCC at 113. Had 19 falls, 188 team points. Took 2nd at the Porter. Went 10-0 at the gold medal duels. second at the All-North, first at sectionals, and fifth at districts. Colt was a guy that, again, stayed after practice. A lot of these freshmen stayed after practice every single day and worked on something. This kid wants to be great. He doesn't want to be good. He wants to be great. And the maturity I've seen in him, I'm a 7th grade science teacher. I was his teacher. The maturity that I've seen in him every single year is unbelievable. And again, this kid's going to be a hammer in the future. Already is, really.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I kind of hang out at the lightweight end of the room a lot. And to have, 3-man grinders watching Colt, Carter, and Ahmad go at it, it kind of it gives you goosebumps to think, okay, yeah, I'm seeing how hard they're wrestling, and we're trying to fix mistakes, and but you can always fix aggressive mistakes, and all 3 of those are aggressive. Like you said, they don't want to be good, they want to be good. And that's something that I what coach doesn't like to work with kids like that?
Oh yeah. I am not a lightweights coach, and I'm a heavyweights coach, but sometimes when we'd have just varsity only practices, I found myself staring at the lightweights. Because those 3 freshmen, the 2 106s and that 13, would just battle, and it was just fun to watch. And sometimes I'd get taken away with them, like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be looking over here, because it was fun to watch them just battle each and every day.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on to the sophomore letter winners. We have 4 of them. We have Anthony Apicella, Luke Johnston, Chance Wade, and Nathan Morris. We'll start off with Anthony. Anthony's a 2nd-year wrestler. He finished with 6 varsity wins this year, 33 team points. Anthony's best attribute is reliability, and that's one of the best attributes I think you can have in any realm of life. When I say reliability, I mean off-season, every single lifting session that we had, every open mat, every club practice, every single thing. Mulch delivery, he's the first one there. I mean, it's on time every single day. Can't say enough about how important that is. He does very well in the weight room. I can't wait to get back going and get him back in that weight room, because he does do very well in there. The more he does that, the bigger he gets, the stronger he's going to get, the more he's going to continue to blossom. Really looking forward to the next couple years with Anthony. And his drill partner, Luke Johnston. He accumulated 10 varsity wins, 57 team points. Luke is probably one of our best athletes, most dynamic athletes that we have on our team. Does very well in the weight room. He's the same thing. The more he grows, the stronger he gets, the more he's going to set himself up for success. I'm excited about continuing to work with him for the next couple years. I know that Clark put in some good time with these guys, and you saw it throughout the year. I mean, they went from middle school wrestlers to high school wrestlers throughout the course of the year, with what they were doing, and it kind of culminated in that Bradley match. They were outmanned in their matches, and they weren't giving up the edge. I think they both saved us team points there in a really tight duel. And those are dual meet heroes. Those are OCC heroes right there. So very excited about them.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say that the most excited I was for either one of them was when they lost, but when they're wrestling, highly ranked district guys, state guys against Bradley, and we're just saying, hey, we need you to, only give up a major, or, don't get pinned, and they're just like, okay, I'll do it. And they went out there and went against some of the best kids in the OCC and just fought like crazy. I mean, those kids were frustrated, and they came off the mat. I remember, I think it was Anthony came off, and he was super excited because he just did what we told him to do, which, I mean, that is just, it's just fun to watch. Again, I'm in this for not just wins, and just watching that. We had a job for him, and he went up there and did it to the best of his ability, and it was really, really great to watch. Our whole team was super excited. That was my highlight for both.
Yeah, those are team guys. I mean, and I'll take team guys over fantastic individuals any day. So, another team guy, Chance Wade, sophomore. He's one of those guys that bounced around, did a lot of JV time as well. And for him, his aspect is he was always there when we needed him. So So, hey, you need me at 182, I'll go down to 182. You need me at 95, I'll go. Heck, if we need him at 220, I'm sure okay. I'll get up. I'll make sure I weigh enough to go 220. And so he was always making those sacrifices for the team as well. Really grateful for him. Also, another kid, off-season stuff. I mean, he'd show up all the time. He transformed his body this off-season. I actually look forward to him doing that again, doing that some more. Continue to do that and put himself in the best position possible to continue to get some varsity wins. I think he's going to be a big part of our future. I mean, he's in that 182, 195 mix that he's got 2 more years to be in that mix, and he's definitely a big time part of our future. Congratulations, Chance Wade. Our last sophomore, Nathan Morris, second year varsity starter, 32 and 13 this year, finished with 20 pins, 55 near falls, 164 team points, first team all OCC. I think that's his second time in as many years being first team all OCC. I'd have to look that up, but he's exactly what we look for out of a Darby wrestler. Reliable, hardworking, constantly looking to improve, cares deeply about his teammates. He's another one. He wants to be great. I mean, he's watching film. He's doing the extra work. He wants to be great. And same thing, the bigger and stronger that he can get, the more it's going to help him. I think he is committed to that, and that's going to be key for him. And then the season, how it ended, did not hit his goals. He didn't. But I think that's going to be it should be a huge motivator for him for next year. We've had kids all the time that fall a little bit short of their goals, and next thing you know, the following year they're wrestling at the shop. He's a kid that he is going to put the work in the off season, whenever the off season can get started, obviously, to make some serious noise as his first year as an upperclassman next year.
Yeah, just going off that one, I'll second with Chance Wade. I mean, he was here all summer, doing stuff, and you could just see the transformation in his body through the whole summer. I mean, and again, I can't wait to keep seeing that out of him. With Morris, again, I think this is the 4th guy in a row I've said this. He wants to be great. After he wins and losses, he'd come up to me, Coach Burgei, what could I do to get better? And he just wanted input after practice. Hey, did you see that match against blah 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 in practice? Yeah, what could I have done? And then whatever I said, we're going to go work on that right now. So again, it's a kid that's not just trying to skate by. He wants to be great. He wants to be whatever his top end is, eventually, and he'll do whatever it takes to get there too.
Well, we got a ton of juniors. I'm going to let you take the lead on this. I think there's like 10 or 11 of these juniors. So,
all right, our juniors: Yassine Ahmad, Eric Cathala, Hunter Garcia, Zach Lithaluxa, Josh DeJoya, Sam Pennington, Kole Kendall, Isaiah Beneker, Woody Sade, Blaine Barnes, and Bradley Weaver, which you can see we were junior heavy this year. First one up, Yassine Ahmad. When Bradley got hurt at heavyweight, Yassine jumped right in. This is his first full year of wrestling. In practice, he was not afraid to go right after guys, and in matches, not afraid to go right after guys. I have a good bond with Yassine. I think I took him home most days or picked him up most days in freshman football. So I got to know him really well. So our big thing this year was during stretches every day, I'd be right next to him talking to him, and it would start off just like, hey coach, you gonna wrestle me today? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, yeah, you're scared of me. And so I'm like, I'm not scared of you. I mean, I just didn't know if I was gonna wrestle. So by the end of the year, it's just me and him going back and forth. And it didn't matter. I'd pick him first match, take him down about 25 times in the first minute. We'd go to water break. He's back to going, coach, you got lucky. I just let you do that. I know that made you feel good inside. Now I'm going to give you what, I'm give it to you this time. So, and that was for whatever, how many practices we had every single day. Unfortunately, he got hurt at the Porter Memorial, was out for the rest of the year, but fun kid to be around. Can't wait to see him come back next year. Next up, we have Eric Cathala. This is his second varsity letter. Again, he missed a lot of the season due to an injury. He finished with 36 team points. And really his best attribute for our team is he gets our team excited. He gets our team together. Just a fantastic teammate. He fights for his team. This is another guy when him just staying off his back, him just fighting for whatever. Maybe it's just to barely win, barely lose, whatever. But his fight he had in matches inspired our whole entire team. He was a guy when he was wrestling, the whole team was surrounded around watching. And his kick flip is pretty cool too. Next up is Hunter Garcia. Stepped in the lineup when Eric and Rayburn were out with injuries. He's a first-year wrestler. Jumped right in when he got his opportunity. He just showed up every single day and just did whatever he asked. Again, you're going to get some bumps and bruises with your first year. You're going to go through some hard times with your first year, especially if you're wrestling varsity at 160. But you know what? He would, you could see the stuff that he was trying to do in matches. The coachability was great. Even in losses, you'd be like, I can see what he was trying to do here. I could see what he was trying to do here. And there'd be glimpses like that was a great knee slide. Now the next part, blah, blah, blah. And you could just see, then you tell him something in the next match, you'd see that attempted. And, that coachability was just fun to watch with him, wins or losses. So thank you, Garcia. Zach Lithaluxa, this is his third varsity letter. He was in lineup as a freshman, but he was up a weight. Some growing pains with that. His sophomore year, he dealt with some injuries. He was having a great spring coming into this year with Thatcher's, and then just decided to step away from the sport for a while. We tried to get him back on the team, and finally on his own, a little bit into the season, rejoined the team, and I'm very thankful he did. Even so, he had kind of a late start, kind of a spot starter for us, but very talented kid. Man, if he can have an off season like he started to last year and keep it rolling, the sky's the limit on what this kid can do.
I'll second that. If he rededicates himself in the off season like he was doing last spring, he's gonna creep up on people. I really think so. As well as getting his workouts in and hitting the weight room. Those will be two important things. But I mean, he could definitely be somebody who takes our team over the edge for next year.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up is Josh DeJoya. We got his first varsity action this year. For the last 3 years, he's kind of been dealing with some injuries. Hasn't really had an injury-free season just yet. Put in a lot of time in the off season. I know he works with, I think, Jimmy, Jimmy Edwards, and put in a lot of time with that. And, he just can't really seem to catch a break with injuries. But, what I can say about Josh, he's got one of the coolest mustaches I've ever seen. If he led the league in the OCC in something, it was mustache.
Yeah.
He's a goofy dude. It's just his personality. I mean, that mustache was to be goofy. His haircut was to be goofy. He's just a goofy dude. He's got a lot of talent. He's just never had a chance to really put it together. Varsity kicker in football, ex-7th grade science kid for me, so I've known him for a long time. And again, if this kid can get a whole year together, an off season plus a whole year to let it keep rolling, I think he could have a really good senior year next year.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Sam Pennington. He moved from Hilliard Bradley to Darby this year. He was injured most of last year with Bradley. Coming back with us. He was 20 and 17, 14 pins, 115 team points, took third at the Big Walnut, fourth at the Porter, fourth at the All North. He came in the summer, worked with them a lot in the summer, and a couple weeks in, he already felt like a Darby Panther, making friends with all of our guys there every single day. Sometimes I forgot that this was his first year at Darby. because he just gelled real quick with all of our guys. You know, he knows a whole lot about wrestling. Again, I think with a couple little fixes here and there, I think he could be a really, really good wrestler next year as a senior. Yeah. Kole Kendall, this is his second varsity letter. He was 19-20, 95 team points. You know, came in a little short of some of his goals this year. I think he's going to have a big senior year. Took second at the Big Walnut Classic, fourth at the Porter, sixth at the All North, fifth at the Sectional. You know, first off, I don't call him Cole very often. I call him Swole. You know, wrestling season, Swole season for Cole.
I mean, I didn't even have to ask how he got that nickname. It's pretty obvious.
Actually, I didn't even know it was his nickname until his freshman year, I think. We were doing a video or something, and he just said it's Swole season. And I thought that was really funny.
I figured he gave himself that nickname.
You know, he's a great kid. You know, he's always asking for advice from me. You know, I give him criticism, and he wants it. He'll take it. You know, he had some ups, he had some downs this year. Again, I don't think it's the year that he wanted, but you know, he's a great kid. And there was glimpses this year. There was glimpses in practice of what he can be. I think he just needs to believe it a little bit more. But I really think this kid could be very, very good senior year next year and really shock some people because I've seen it in the wrestling room. So, yeah.
Nice.
Next up, Isaiah Beneker. This is his third varsity letter. Finished 27-19, 134 team points, 86 takedowns, 65 near falls. Took second at the Big Walnut, fourth at the Porter, fourth at the Sectionals, and was a district qualifier and won a match at the districts. Again, Isaiah's a great kid. He's been around the program for a while. He's a kid that shows up to a lot of stuff. You know, he works really hard. You know, he's a Darby Panther. He's been around. You know, again, I don't know if he lived up to all of what he wanted to this year, but he is an excellent wrestler. You know, watching him drill was a fun thing to do this year. You know, you can see what he could be, what he can be. And again, I'm saying this, he's 27-19, and I'm saying, man, this kid could be exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, as coaches, how many times do we sit in the office and talk about Isaiah Beneker? I feel like it's all the time.
Yeah.
Just because Isaiah, I think he got another gear, and we always, you know, I think. But as soon as he gets over that hump, like you said, I mean, and we kind of saw it with Rodney, older brother too. I mean, as soon as he got over that hump, which was senior year, it took off, and so you know, it's in there, and I'm excited about his senior year for sure.
Yeah, the tools are there. And again, that's perfect. I mean, Rodney's the same way. We're kind of like, man, Rodney's got another year. Rodney's got another year, and he found it his senior year. And I'm thinking the same for Isaiah. I'm thinking we're gonna see it next year, and kind of have the same results as Rodney, hopefully.
Yeah.
Next up, Woody. Woody today is receiving his second varsity letter. He was 25-18, including 9 falls and 118 team points. He was our 106 last year. Now is our 126. You know, kids struggle with that jump going from a 106 to a 126. I mean, that's complete. If you know wrestling, that's completely different. That's a big learning curve. And this kid has improved so much. You know, 10-0 at the gold medal duels. Again, this kid's a jokester. He'll joke with you all day long. But I mean, last year he was this guy we put in at 106, jokester kid, kind of made it fun to be on varsity with him. You know, when he came in for us, but this year he's definitely a wrestler. This year was where I said Woody is a wrestler. Woody, you know, there is expectations for this kid. The way he's transformed his body, another kid that just transforms his body in the off season. You know, again, he went from jokester, little funny Woody to this kid is a wrestler. We have expectations for you. We demand excellence out of you. And he took that with stride. I mean, again, I don't know how else to put it, but
Yeah, he went class clown to top of the class. I mean, really. And that was a mentality. He did it in the off season. That didn't happen overnight. He's a jokester. I mean, he is so fun to be around and stuff like that. I mean, it actually makes my day better when I can get one over on him. You know, like the one that I use is telling him, "Hey, Woody, I know that you look at me as your best friend, but I don't look at you the same." He's been trying to get me back ever since that one. But hey, talk about a pleasure to be around, for sure.
All right, Blaine Barnes. Blaine is receiving his third varsity letter. He was 36-13, 24 falls, 192 team points. You know, Blaine is another one that got so much better this year. The team looks up to him. He's a hard worker. You know, he's our 220, one of our big guys, winning sprints, you know, trying to outwork everybody. Again, one of the big leaders on our team, especially by example. You know, when Bradley got hurt, he was the heart soul of our team. He was first at the Big Walnut, 8th at Medina, first at the Porter, 2nd at the All North, 2nd at Sectionals, you know, and really battled at district tournament. The one last thing I got for him is, you know, we talk about growth all the time, and I just want to see growth in kids. And, you know, Robinson from Kilbourne teched at the district tournament as a junior. I'm sorry, Thompson from Kilbourne teched him. Robinson pinned him as a junior. We come back, as a sophomore. These are both sophomore year. Then as a
pinned him at All North too.
Yep, and then Robinson pins him at All North as a junior. You know, we go 365 days later from his sophomore year at districts to his junior year at districts. Loses a close match to Thompson, a kid that tech followed him his sophomore year, majored him at the beginning of this year. He's battling. I mean, I think he lost by a couple points in that. Then we got Robinson, where he got pinned twice, once his sophomore year, once his junior year, and then goes and loses 5-4 in a match where, you know, we're trying to get out. We're on our feet, but can't get out to take it in overtime. You know, it was heartbreaking to watch because, you know, we talked about it this year because he's one of my main guys. He had one goal, one individual goal. I want to beat Robinson. And that was it. I was like, what about states, whatever? I want to beat Robinson. And when it was that close, you know, all the times I threw him in practice just to get ready for Robinson, you know, it was that close. I was in a lot of pain because I knew that's meant everything to him. And again, this kid is hungry. He's still not a big 220 yet. He looks like he is, but he's not. He's like 212 pounds. But he's got so much room to grow. I swear he's going to be 230 next year, 235, drop down to 220. I mean, this is going to be lights out of his team year, I'm hoping.
Yep. All right, one more, Coach.
All right, we got Bradley Weaver. This is his third varsity award. He's obviously very, very talented. Third year in a row battling injuries. You know, luckily this time it wasn't season ending. You know, but his time out, you know, you can always see who wants it because when some guys get injured, they just sit and talk the whole time, or you've got to tell them to do something. And the next thing you know, they're sitting and talking again. Bradley was going. You can tell he was hungry to get back. And then right when he was cleared to get back, him and Coach Jones were just at it. They were going right away, you know, no delay. You know, Coach Jones would come up with a game plan with him. He would stick to his game plan. Finished 19-2. One of those losses was when he got hurt at the beginning of the year. So, I mean, in a way, 19-1. You know, he took first at the All North, second at Sectionals, first at the districts. You know, and revenged his sectional loss at the districts. So he's district champion. Unfortunately, he couldn't be at the state tournament this year because of the coronavirus. But you know, I think he would have done some noise. Again, this is a kid next year where it's going to be lights out. You know, a 230-something pound Bradley Weaver looks enormous. Next year, a 250, 260-pound Bradley. I mean, he was a 195 last year that didn't cut weight that much. And now he's 235 pounds. I mean, he's going to be 250, 260. It's going to be really, really fun.
He's going to do the work to get there. I mean, he's
yeah.
it's like, he's kind of a mat rat. He's kind of a gym rat. He's a football rat. He's a lacrosse rat. I mean, he just goes. And, I mean, sky's the limit.
This is another goofy kid, and we made a commercial. I had a lot of things going on, so we made it a couple months ago, but I'll probably put it out soon with Bradley in it. You can kind of see his goofy side. I have a newborn, so now I got some time, obviously, that I can get this thing done. I kind of put it on the back burner for 2 months, but we're gonna have a commercial come out with Bradley, starring Bradley Weaver. But my last thing with him was.
Speaking of the word.
Yeah.
Got my chubby cheeks.
Oh, I thought you were actually doing your thing today.
Yeah, we are. We're doing it right now. See ya.
No, I thought.
Yeah, this is recorded.
My last thing with Bradley is he's a goofy kid and fun to goof with, but if you want to know what he meant to our team, it's no accident that right when he's back, you're like, man, this team looks great. Like, what's going on with this team? Man, Bradley was great. The Bradley duel, man. All North. Why did we wrestle so well? Because Bradley Weaver's back. That's why. And you can see with everybody. That is why. Unexplainable why, but that's what he meant to our team right there.
He was our team's walking, talking confidence.
Yeah.
Sure. He was around, everybody felt better. And you see that with kids. I mean, we've been doing this for a while. You see that there's certain kids that they have that.
Can't explain it.
All right. We're gonna get on to recognizing our senior wrestlers. We got two of them this year. Proudly have Caden Rayburn and Ryan Blackerby. And both these seniors this year, I mean, kind of like their career, they were kind of in and out of the lineup with injuries and stuff like that. But in their 4 years, they've been a part of basically the varsity team. They've, been a part of 57 dual meet victories, 5 tournament championships, 2 OCC titles, a district runner-up finish, and a regional runner-up finish. So they're certainly extending a legacy. They're passing on a legacy. Super proud of these guys for keeping it going. Here's the thing. You talk about kids and seniors. Like I've always said, if I got a kid that makes it all the way through the 4 years of this program, and I'm sure you're the same way, like that's my guy. Like they call me in the middle of the night. They need something. Those are the guys that you want to be in a foxhole with. Think about this class, when they were in middle school coming up. I mean, this class was huge and it was loaded and all that stuff. And how many of those kids, either aren't even going to Darby anymore, aren't participating in any sports and stuff like that. So when all that happens, and then when the dust settles, these two are still standing. That means something, Caden, he's going to be receiving his 3rd varsity award. Out for most of the year, but he finished strong. Finished runner-up at the sectional, where didn't even have enough matches, couldn't even be seeded, and takes out the 1 seed first round. That's a tough draw. Drawing Caden Rayburn first round as the 1 seed, but takes second there. Gets to the district tournament, wins a match. I thought it was fitting that he got back home. He got back to Darby for districts in front of friends and family and had it in there. I thought that was the right. I was happy for him, so I've had some background with him as far as I remember when he was a 7th grader. His brother's dragging him over to DePoy's gym with us, and they're getting workouts in the spring. And that's just kind of when me and Caden's relationship really started. You could say throughout the years that, me and Caden, we definitely have history. And within that road, there's bumps, there's wicked turns, and there's all this stuff. But his journey ended with Darby Wrestling successful. And I couldn't ask for anything more. No matter what happened, he'd keep coming back. He'd dust himself off and come back and do whatever he had to do to be a good teammate. So what a perfect way to end it. He's going to be heading off to the professional world. I know he's doing internship with Worthington Industries, and hopefully that's going well. Obviously, probably not there right now with the coronavirus, but when he gets back in there. And Caden, absolute pleasure to coach you. Thank you for all your efforts.
Yeah, it was great to have him come back to our team. There was a while we didn't think Caden would be part of us with us this year, and he took it on himself to say, hey, I want to be a part of this. Can I be back on this team? Unfortunately, right when he came back, right when he was allowed to come back, he got hurt right away, kept plugging away, and really ended on a good note, which was nice to see. So
yeah,
thank you, Caden.
Ryan Blackerby is going to be receiving his 4th varsity letter. He was 26-13 with 55 near falls, 135 team points. And Ryan, same way. His 4-year journey's there's been peaks, there's been valleys. As a freshman, and if you remember this, we had a really good team that year, but we had kind of that one spot, 120 pounds, where we just had an influx of different kids and we couldn't find the right kid. And once we got towards the end of that year, towards getting closer to the postseason, I kept telling you guys, I was like, down here at the light end of the room, this Blackerby kid, he's starting to turn it up. And you guys are like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. So he ends up winning the spot for sectionals. He goes out in that first match of sectionals. I think you and Clark looked at me like, who the heck is this kid? Who's the guy doing all the level changes and blowing people up with a blast double? I said, I told you, he's been turning it up. So he took that, qualified for districts as a freshman. Heck, I don't know what his record was going in, like 2-3 maybe or something like that.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. Clark and I did his first match freshman year at sectionals. We've seen him wrestle. He was like 2-3 or something, and just caught fire at the end of the year. Coach Moody saw it happening in the practice room. I'm not down that area. I'm like, whatever. I've seen him wrestle this year. Come on. And it was a brand new kid. Level change, double leg. And Clark and I just looked at each other and said nothing. And, and that was kind of how Ryan Blackerby started really as a wrestler right then and there. Because that was the way he wrestled for 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. And then sophomore year kind of took up right where he left off and all the way. He was sectional champion as a sophomore. And then in the offseason, kind of like Zach Luxa, kind of stepped away from the sport, kind of check out some new ventures and stuff like that. And it was, a few weeks into his junior year where, he wanted to be back with the program. Ryan Blackerby is not a kid that I would ever not allow back on the program. He is such a super kid. So, but he had to pay his dues, that type of thing. Really only got some spot start time as a junior, but came back through, this year and then took off again. I think there's people around the state that know of Ryan Blackerby for a reason. He's a talented kid. Obviously, his top game's pretty good. His level changes, the way he can move his feet is pretty good. He can go toe-to-toe with some of the best kids in the state. So he is that talented. The biggest attribute that he had for us this year with so many first-year varsity guys was watching him at practice. Like, I would try to get people to watch, like, him and Morris drilling. Because it's high level. It was high level drill sessions, high level live goes that him and Morris are having in the room. And that's what he definitely brought to some of these younger guys. So when we talk about legacy, like, oh man, look what Colt and Ahmad are doing over there. Like they got glimpses of that from all over the place, but part of that glimpse is from Ryan Blackerby for sure. So Ryan, thank you very much for everything. And good luck in all your future endeavors.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. We got some, not quite done yet here. We got some statistical awards that we'll go through. I think you're starting us off here.
Yep. All right. Most wins goes to Blaine Barnes and Colt Ryan with 36 wins.
Nice.
Most pins, escapes, and team points goes to Blaine Barnes with 24 pins, 49 escapes, and 192 team points.
Nice. Like I said, man, he was leading the charge. He was putting this team on his shoulders for a long time. highest winning percentage goes to Bradley Weaver, 19-2. That's a 90% or 90.4 or something like that. But that's awesome. I mean, it's unfortunate that he got hurt, because who knows what that winning percentage could be. I mean, he had the one loss at sectional finals in overtime and then wins the district in double overtime against the same kid. So, yeah, that's awesome, 90%.
All right, most takedowns and near falls goes to Isaiah Beneker with 86 takedowns and 65 near falls. All right, congrats to everybody.
Yep, nice job, statistical leaders. All right, we got some other awards here. Some of them are meaningful. Some of them are a little bit goofy, but we're going to start with the most improved award. And if we didn't already give that away with when we were talking about some of these kids, but from last year to this year, Woody's today. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, if you watched him wrestle, we actually had, I remember his sophomore year, he was a 6-pounder, and we have alumni's father that still comes and watches the matches and stuff, Vince Black. He was talking with, man, I really like watching that 106-pounder. Like, he just doesn't give up. And, I think that's a prime example of if you get a kid on a wrestling mat that won't give up, he's going to get a lot better very, very quickly. And we had the morning practice day 2 at Medina, where let's face it, we started calling him last place Woody, and he did not like that.
Oh yeah.
And he's pretty much first place Woody now. I mean,
yeah,
that's amazing that you strike a chord with a kid, and he went from class clown to he takes stuff pretty serious now, but he keeps it in perspective. So that's a huge honor, Woody. Most improved. I think that's one of our highest esteem awards. So congratulations.
All right, freshman of the year. Again, we had a lot of good freshmen this year. The freshman of the year goes to Colt Ryan. Colt Ryan took 5th in the district. Tremendous talent. Can't wait to watch him for 3 more years.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the Spark Plug Award. This is a tie between Blaine Barnes and Bradley Weaver. Again, Blaine was definitely, when Bradley was out, was definitely the heart, soul of the team. What he did to lead us was tremendous. He's a man of low amount of words, doesn't have much to say, but his actions would speak for it. In the practice room, on the mat, and Bradley Weaver, again, like we were talking before, what he meant to this team, it was just like you said, he was the confidence booster. Right when he stepped on the mat, our whole team got a little bit better. They did a lot of little getaways at his parents' house, and he was a big leader. And when these guys stepped on the mat, they made everybody better. It made everybody excited.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, they're both like 6'4", have shoulder here. I mean, it's one of those, if I was in a dark alley, I want those two walking with me because I'm gonna feel confident as well.
Yes.
So yeah. The MASH award. So MASH award is, you get the kids that get hurt and stuff like that. Nobody wants the MASH award. But unfortunately we have a lot of people that are qualified for it. But this year, the MASH award undoubtedly goes to John Mason Taphorn. Kind of a freaky thing at practice, and hurts his knee and ends up being a torn ACL. So he's got surgery scheduled and all this stuff. And then when the home caught flame, he was actually, and I'm not going to get into crazy details, but he was actually in his room upstairs. So he ended up not being able to escape the room, has to climb out the window, like a 20-foot drop on a torn ACL, jumps out the window. So yeah, he definitely deserves the MASH award, if not more. So MASH award goes John Mason Taphorn. Get healthy, buddy. Hope to see you soon.
Now this next one, you got this, but this next one everybody wants. This is the opposite of the MASH award. Everybody wants this award.
I'm supposed to be presenting this one.
I know. Go ahead. Go.
Okay. Oh, so thanks for the introduction.
Yeah.
The GQ award. So, I mean, these are the ones that everybody's dressing to the dimes on Thursdays, all this stuff. But if you've seen my guy in his pastel suits, Azam Alamari, he looks sharp. I mean, I know day 1 at districts, he was kind of man in the hospitality room running security in one of his pastel suits. And, he's usually got that thing on. He's doing some dance moves or whatever. I mean, he's the man. Azam, you're the man. You're GQ of the year. And, Azam's a sophomore. He's probably got this thing locked up for 2 more years. I mean, honestly, that's how cool he is. So
if we had Dancer of the Year, Azam would win that award too. Because the dance moves he showed in practice sometime and before or after sprints, amazing.
Dude, he won the dunk contest. It was just he's insane. He's the man.
All right, Bulldog Award. This is an award I don't have to explain because we don't know what it means. But every year we have a Bulldog Award for whatever reason. And the funny thing is, we both always are in agreement, like, who's the Bulldog this year? And we're like, oh, easy. Even though we don't even know what that means. But this year was easy. It was Ahmad. Ahmad is the Bulldog of the year.
Congratulations, Ahmad. Bulldog Award. All right. Oh, you got this one, match of the year.
And the match of the year. Match of the year goes to Bradley Weaver for his double overtime victory over Donnie Harden. Again, this is a kid that he lost to at sectionals. Comes back 1 week later, which Krazy. Bradley has like these, he talks out his whole matches to you. And he told me about his whole, like, I am going to wrestle Lenz in the semis. I'm going to beat him again like I did at sectionals. And then I'm going to rematch Harden in the finals. And I was like, whatever, man. He's like, and I'm going to beat him this time. And not only does he lay out his whole match, he like laid out his whole bracket for me of who he was going to have win and how he was going to beat him. And it pretty much all came true, which was crazy. But he beat Donnie Harden in double overtime. He became the 6th Darby District champion. So congratulations.
Can you name the 6?
Walker, Ball, him, Cover.
Twice. So Walker, Ball twice, him, Cover. That's 5. You're missing 1.
Sophomore when I was in school. Dang it. Why am I forgetting his name? Pat Boyd. Yes, Pat Boyd.
Champ. That's right.
Man, why did I forget Pat Boyd's name? But I did.
All right. The final award that we're going to be presenting today is the 2019-2020 Darby Wrestling MVP. Last season was the first time that we've ever had an exact split on the team vote. And when we had that vote, we usually have the team vote and then the coaches, and the coaches were like, we're not splitting them, So last year we presented 2 MVPs. Rodney Beneker, Ben Brown shared the award, rightfully so. This year the team voted. It was right at the conclusion of the regular season leading into the postseason. The vote really came down to 2 names. But there was a clear winner. There was, a couple votes in between. There was a clear winner, separated by about 5 votes. The coaches do their vote after the postseason, and there was no way we could possibly keep these 2 individuals from sharing this award again. So again, we have a split. This year's Darby Wrestling MVP is both Bradley Weaver and Blaine Barnes. Blaine certainly took the leadership role for the majority of the year. While he's not one to talk a lot, when he does, everyone listens. And I think that probably includes me and you. And that power allowed him and his team to achieve things that they otherwise couldn't have done. He was certainly our rock for the most of the season. And then on the other hand, you had Bradley Weaver, comes back on the mat. You could instantly feel the confidence in everyone on the team. They felt complete. Our team felt complete. And that can only be, that type of confidence, in my opinion, can only be ignited by someone that's that caring and talented and resilient. So absolutely congratulations to co-MVPs, Bradley Weaver and Blaine Barnes. And usually we have our banquet, those people come up and speak. So Blaine, you got off easy this time, buddy, because
that'd been fun to watch.
Yeah.
Nightmare, but fun to watch.
Yeah.
Love you, Blaine, but man, that would have been
great. Well, we should have got like we should have got like a red wig and you got a Blaine wig, and we would actually give the sweetest.
As them.
All right. So we got some closing remarks here. You know, I want to remind all wrestlers, all Darby wrestlers, that next season starts now. You know, I know we can't get on the mat together. We can't lift together, but that doesn't mean that you yourself can't get home workouts. You can't watch film to better yourself and see what you have to do to improve. Doesn't mean that you can't write down your goals. You can't write down aspirations because all those things matter. You know, if you're the guy that's not doing those things, then you're the guy that's not, you know, qualifying for districts or not qualifying for state or get to the podium. So and that starts now, guys. You know, once this pandemic's behind us, we'll figure out a plan moving forward. But don't wait. You know, don't wait on me. Don't wait on coach. You know, don't sit on your talent. Work it. You know, because you know one thing for sure. You're either every second of the day, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. You're not staying the same. So go get better. Whatever the case, whatever that means for that day, do something.
You know, I can when we go with like, hey, who was the most improved from last year? It's not that started for all those guys. Those guys that had tremendous off seasons, you know, and that it's not like because we're thinking about that. It's just how it is. We're like, all right, this guy, the most improved from last year. That list is kids that were all there all spring, all summer. It didn't happen by accident. So
absolutely. All right, we're gonna have to take a moment of silence for the end of an era. Yes, it's true. We received our cease and desist letter from Harley-Davidson Corporation. We'll no longer be able to use the infamous crest logo. That logo has been in use for the wrestling team and the softball team at Darby for 20 years. But for every good thing, there comes an end. Now we'll have a new beginning. So we will be working on new designs for singlets and warm-ups. If you have any suggestions, send them to Matthew_Burgei at hboe.org.
Swole, I know you got some. You can send them over. Blaine, I saw you making some too. Send them over.
This is the worst moment of silence ever. All right. Lastly, you know, be safe out there. This virus, it's not a joke. It's not something to be taken lightly. You know, we don't want anybody to be part of the spread of this thing. So let's listen to the experts and be smart. You know, also, please look. We'll be doing some follow-up broadcasts, I think, especially since everybody's quarantined and we're getting the bug to continue to do stuff like this. You know, obviously not as long as this banquet, but I think we might have something for next week. We've been working on something, so I think it'd be kind of cool. Any final remarks there, Coach Bergs?
No, it's just it was a great season. You notice our two MVPs were juniors. The list of juniors that I had, this team is going to be back and ready next year to really bring it to Central Ohio. So I'm very excited for next year.
We got, I mean, it's Marysville now, and Marysville about as well coached as I get. So challenge it's on the calendar.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. Panthers out.